Alright, so it's day 2, May 11th, and real quick video, I'm just going to note a few things. So first thing you have to note, I forgot to mention, is the position of the drive shaft. At least in cars it's like this, but I know that big trucks, you don't have balancing because they're just so fucking big that it really doesn't. There's so much more mass that any small difference in weight it's just negligible. So you don't really have truck drive shaft balancing, I'm pretty sure. But the position of the drive shaft also, that I think does matter. Maybe not, but I'm just going to note it here that the two yokes, position of the yokes I should say, the two yokes, they're in the same position. They're not offset by 90 degrees. They're in the same position. So this one's flat, the other one was flat as well. They're in the exact same position facing each other. I didn't move the drive shaft. Second thing I will note is that just look how much junk is in there. That's all pieces of steel from the grinding. So this passage is connected to this big hole here. So all that crap from here must have come from here, which kind of leads me to believe that it went all the way in there into the big differential, into the actual differential. So I'm seriously considering, what I think I'm gonna do is actually I'll have to remove this big nut here, which shouldn't be too hard because it's nice and clean as it was inside the transmission, inside the differential. It's full of oil, even though it's big, it's not. It'll be hard to remove. Remove these bolts here, remove this piece, and then just remove this whole housing so I can get access to the bottom there. I don't know, the oil didn't come out dirty when I removed the oil there, but I mean, might as well, right? Might as well just do the whole good job. But I will definitely order the parts first, because I know we don't have anything catastrophic in here. It's just a matter of removing this to get it clean, make sure there's no junk inside there. And finally, the last thing I will mention is that I was really on the brink of having something catastrophic here. So as you can see, that big gear there, as well as these big gears here, they're all intact, they're all in perfect condition. But as you can see, there no big chunks or pieces went on them, and that's because even though this whole thing was, fucked up, it was all still being held together. So all these rollers from this bearing here and pieces for the little differential, they were all still in place. They probably just fell inside here, and they were all still there. And these only really came apart when I pulled this part off. So they were all still there together. Because I did drive the truck quite a bit with the problem with the clunking, grinding sounds coming from the differential. Now, what if I had driven the truck a little bit longer? It's in all likelihood these things would have came apart and they would have gotten into these big gears here and would have fucked them up and quite likely seized the truck as well. So I would have been in real deep shit. Would have probably had to pay to get the truck towed, and then so that expense and then also paid to get these parts here. So it would have been a big disaster. So I'm glad I stopped when I did. And I did push my luck because I did have the truck stopped at one point. And then I said, fuck it, let's do one more gravel run. And I did. And I regretted it, but fortunately I didn't. Nothing too catastrophic happened. It could have been a lot worse, that's for sure. Yeah, so a few things to keep in mind. I am going to have to get a whole new housing. I can't just get a rebuild kit because my whole housing inside just broke. You can see there. There. It's just amazing that the truck was still moving. With all of this, when it was empty, it was still moving. I was able to drive it and park it where I wanted. All right.